So this is just kind of what's been happening, I think, since last year on the layout, and it's not in any particular order, but this is the Pandora powerhouse. Um, that This is a Mike McCarville kit. It's normally a Bill Banta kit, and Mike didn't like the way he did the windows and stuff, so he did like a five kit run of how he wanted it for his layout, and I have one of those. So this is about where it'll go. This is under construction. This is using the paper corrugated. This is a new company that McCarville is using entirely. He's based in Denver, and I'm totally blanked on what it is. It's different than some of the paper corrugated from other companies because it's a little heavier and a little softer kind of paper. And I found as I was working, I just cut it and put it as I wanted it to begin with. But the problem was that I ran into is that if you try, it's very soft. So you should really seal it even before you cover it, before you cut it, I think. It comes in strips, but unlike some of the other papers, it tends to begin to disintegrate if it's not sealed. So the next building I use will from using this paper, but I like it, and the texture is really nice. But that was the one thing I found looking about it, and this is about where it'll go on the layout. Um, in quote Pandora region of my spot. Then I have a mill, a butterfly mill house, and office building that are also McCarville kits that will go on that lower level. And the mine slash mill will have a covered walkway coming up to cover the very end of the track on the right. So we'll see how it turns out uh, at any one point in time. Other things I've done working with Andy Pierce and Ray and Jim um, is we've managed to lay track now on into Ridgeway, and the part that I really like about it is finally I have a loop-to-loop layout that would allow for continuous running uh, in uh, in my layout room now, and so I'm happy to be able to do that. And of course, the next thing we did is we went back to scenery and stuff. So there's tape on track everywhere, and you can't run. But at the moment,
Mm.
there was one shining moment that I found that it would take about 41 minutes to run the loop to loop and put the train away again. So that's been kind of fun. Another thing I've been doing is getting the bridge in into the mining district. The bridge in the distance is going to be a automobile wagon bridge, and then the track will go through here. And I've not reinstalled that. Charlotte and I worked on using fast mache to she hand carved some rocks to make the abutments fit now. So I'm really pleased at what she's done. And then Ray has done work to help create the Rockwood cut, which we'll use as a scene divider with the um, brown you see in the background there is going to be rock castings for the High Line. So we've been able to do that, and we've brought the mountain, hill, whatever around to begin to meld the side of the layout you're not seeing there behind that blue divider to make it begin to look more realistic. And and that's
Um,
a mold. The rock on the right is one of those chooch now from Walters or something, sort of latexy, rubbery uh, castings that they have. And on the left is a Bragdon casting. And then Charlotte and I began, mostly Charlotte, but how she's melding it in again with fast mache, um, and doing some hand carving of the rocks, the rock strata as it goes around the hill. And the other edge, we've just melded into that at this particular point in time. And I put some gesso on the rock at that point so it could be painted. And that's where it comes around. Uh, and uh, the line there is the RGS line headed for Porter and Dolores at this point. But I like in some of these areas in the peninsula where you get the background scenery from across the Isle. They're looking at Ophir, and it just I just found it a lot of fun. And there it is, colored with that. The form for the that Jim did in Ray um, is a shaper sheet with plaster cloth, and then dirted and painted and dirted over at this moment just to give us that effect. So I've used all kinds of scenery forms on this layout. I'm not sure I have a favorite one, but we've done all kinds of things. And then there's the rock cut colored and looking as we're at. And then these are more of the shaper sheet hills further on down the line, and that Jim has worked on. And we're starting to put a few little bushes in here and there, just trying to see it out and setting out some evergreens to go with it. And then this is the other cut headed towards my ranch farm scene as it's headed towards Dolores. And this is all pretty much shaper sheet with a few castings. And then the other thing that we've been working on is starting to lay out how we might uh, place the city of Durango on the end of the peninsula. And Andy helped a lot with this too, as it's long enough and large enough to, to sort of lay things out. And so those are kind of streets that we're looking at this point in time, and then just buildings from all around the layout put into Durango just to try and lay out and how things will look as we go. And there's some more, and again, you get the view of the scenery across the Isle, looking at it at this point. And this is down at the end. This is where the sheet with the blue tape is the footprint for the Durango Depot. When we were doing this, Charlotte and I went out one morning, and we probably had that depot in five different places. Although I originally had thought this when we were building the benchwork that this is where I wanted it. And after trying and talking about the benefits and uh, pros and cons of the of each of these various five different places we were trying it, it came back to where we originally had thought we would put it in the first place. And then the other footprint there will be the Telluride Ironworks on that. So, and we finally got the coal tower sort of set in the right position so it wasn't in the way all the time. And then the last thing is I've been working on a little kit that's an antique store that I've probably had lying around. And I realize one of the things is when you get an older kit and you don't build it for a while, then you open it up, you suddenly find that you're missing a wall here or a sign there or something. And so I actually had to make a wall, one of the side walls for that was missing. And just sort of laying in some of the windows here and seeing how it worked with the stain. I was sizing the window or the signs. I was sizing the signs at this point in time. Um, and I put in the nail holes and so forth. I found a really nice thing from a company called Dr. Benz that has nail holders and instead of the pounce wheel, which works well for a lot of places, he also has nail holders that he's made with a handle and a gear rather than a pounce type wheel. And that's what I used here on that. And as I say, I was just playing around with the signs and I did the signs. I did them in Pages, which is my Macintosh page layout program for it's what I put the flyer in before I send it to Eric and previously Joe. And you can certainly resize them things, which makes it a value. Um, you can also, I've seen people doing this to making signs. They've actually done used PowerPoint on the Windows side or the Mac side, either one, using PowerPoint to create their signs. So anyway, that's just got the base stain on it at that point, and that's kind of the direction we're headed. I haven't used gallery glass for a long time, and I thought for an antique store it'd be kind of fun. So I glazed the windows with gallery glass. And I'm glad I took this picture this morning because it showed me I didn't have the lid on quite right on the glass. So I fixed that, guys. So, and that's just a closer of some of the kind of effect you can get with gallery glass. And I've put the window shades in at this point. So um, thing I hadn't realized that lots of times I had tried to put the gallery glass in past times from the outside in, particularly in automobiles, in an HO automobile. And then I ran across this video, and I think it's called Modeler's Workbench or something like that. But anyway, the guy who builds structures on that, that's his name is Bob. And so I always have, Charlotte and I have fun watching something new by Bob. And he put the gallery glass in from the rear of the windows. Um, and I think maybe that's helped some. I have a little touch up to do there and some weathering, and that is it.
Very nice.
Hey, Martin, the Rockwood cut that you guys are building over there,
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to see you and Ray if you time lapse that or I think that's really kind of a fascinating topic that probably would lend itself to a presentation at some point. I think it's everybody loves that section of the railroad and figuring out how to model it.
Well, it's mostly out of scale because, in part, in terms of the proportions, because Um, um, uh, we were having to, as we were putting in bench work and stuff, we had to build the supports for the styrene backdrop that acts as a divider there. And there was a certain amount you needed to do to stabilize that. Now it's more stable than it was initially because I have scenery abutting up against it finally. But so as I say, the proportions are a little out of uh but yeah, what the hell.
I tried to we talked about not having Durango and just having the woods leading up to the cut, but Martin didn't want to do that.
It makes a good divider. So, and Ray did a really good job fitting it in and making sure we had clearance as you go through. In fact, you cut back some things several times in
The
order to be able to.
K36 would not make it through. Oh, was that a 27? I can't
That was
remember.
a 27.
27.
Yeah, yeah. But it encourages me to continue to use the smaller engines, but it does fit now at this point. So
I don't know if you guys have noticed, even the real Rockwood cut, it has a little jog in the track to make it work because it wouldn't clear otherwise. And it looks weird when you watch the train go through, but it does a little jiggy thing. And then that
I
has
did
to, I
not
think, be
know
clear.
that.
Yeah, it actually does. It's pretty cool when you watch it. It just kind of jogs over and goes, and it looks like a mistake, but I think that's the clearance issue. It is what it is.
Huh.
We can make that change, no doubt in my military mind.
Yeah, make it jiggy.
Uh, well, it's easier to make it jiggy, or just as we cut back the scenery. I mean, it fits now, but we were doing that initially because we were working on the side with the rubber casting, the chooch casting, because that's where it's tightest, and working on that, and then hoping that we wouldn't come too far, finding the right rock mold for the other side on that. But I think Charlotte did a really good job of blending the colors in and uh, painting that. That's mostly she just was using craft acrylics on that. And then once we had it, I gave it a light spray of matte medium to help seal it um, as well. And so. Uh, but that fast mache is a very interesting product, and we're really liking to use it for making rocks and so forth. It's from the same company that does sculpt mold, and it's got some kind of different plaster ratio or whatever in it, but it seems to not set up as fast as Sculptamold does, and it's not as coarse. It's a finer product, and you can what she does and what Jim has done too, because Jim has used it a number of places too, is mix it in a plastic baggie of the appropriate size for what you want, and you put your product in, and you add the water and seal it, and you just mix it that way, and that way you can tell if there are any lumps or anything. You can feel it, and then when you have it, you can just apply it with spatula and smooth it and so forth. And then Charlotte used, I think, a metal spatula to do the rocks, but it seems like you get enough working time that you can really shape the rocks and so forth as well. And then whatever we have left over of a bag gets distributed along the track someplace because we're going to need it somewhere on the foam anyway. So that's what happens with that. But it is an interesting product, and as I say, by the same company. It's the same company that makes Sculpt Mold. So I learned about it from Boomer Diorama on YouTube. He really does some interesting stuff with it, and uh, so I'm sure you could probably do a Sculptamold to one degree or another, but I've never had great luck other than just general foam covering with Sculptamold. So,
Yeah, by the way, Mark, so the guy that does Boomer Diorama, don't you think, Martin, when you listen, it's like, oh, him and Mark are like brothers. Talk a little bit like the same a little bit. It just reminds me. You might have to check that out, Mark.
I will. Thank you.
yeah, he's in British Columbia and is a retired set maker for the movies. So of course he's developed shortcuts and speed things and so forth over his career, and that's reflected in what he does.
Yeah, and his painting and texturing is really great. He's really good.
Yeah,
Got that down.
yeah.
Martin,
Well,
what's
thank you.
that product again?
Mm.
Fast mache. It's like FAST and the space MACHE is how we pronounce it. Some people call it fast mash, but it's just, and it's by the same company that makes Sculptamold. And we got it online. Uh, there's no place around here that carries it, so
Thank you, Martin.